Alright, how's it going, everybody? Today, I have a special video for you guys, as it is the beginning of a new series I want to start. And unfortunately, I tried to do this, like a few days ago, but my, recording didn't save. So, as you can see, I've already made a lot of progress, but I'll catch you guys up to speed, because Space Engineers and Survival, which is what this series is going to be, is extremely difficult to progress in for me, because it takes so much time, and I don't have quite a lot of time. So what happened at the beginning, basically, was our respawn pod, which you start off with at the beginning of survival mode, spawned 8 kilometers away, I think in that direction somewhere. And so I flew and flew and flew until I found a nice flat spot, because where we spawned was all hills. And so I decided to land here. From there, if you couldn't tell, the respawn pod is not flyable when you first get it, so I had to build a cockpit and a gyroscope. But other than that, that's what happened. And so then I decided to walk over to here, and I built this refinery station right here. And obviously I didn't start off with the big refinery and the big assembler and all that. I started off with a regular size refinery and a regular size assembler, and then I ended up progressing faster because I found ores. And the reason I knew there were ores here was because I looked it up online, and if you fly about 100 meters in the sky, I mean, you could see them now, obviously, but it's easier 100 meters in the sky, you will see discolorated splotches on the ground. Like, there are some over there, there are some right here, and there are some over there and there. Those are where ore banks are, where lots of ores will be. So I decided to mine over there, and of course, my drill showed that there was some iron, so I got the iron, and I was able to progress pretty quickly. So that is... Oh, no, that's not all. That's not all. There's more. So this was my old base, and this is my new base. Right? So we've got this little setup right here, which is not done yet. We're working on a rover. We have an assembler right here, and then it's all connected to a drill, which, so far, has been drilling, unfortunately, in a very interesting shape. I swear I didn't mean to do that. That's just where the iron was. We'll fix that later. But it's been drilling, and it's been drilling very well, might I add. We have currently 45 iron ingots and quite a bit of nickel. And unfortunately, we don't have that much silicon, but that's okay. So yeah. All this progress took about 6 hours. I played from 2 days, from about 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. And that's pretty much all the progress we made in those 6 hours. But I lost the original footage, and the original footage, it didn't save. I shouldn't say I lost it. It just didn't save. But the original footage, all it really showed was me setting up this original base down there with those wind turbines. All this, I just kind of got carried away with. But yeah, that's where we are now. So let me give you guys a little rundown on the goal of what this series will be about. What I plan to do is there are these things called factions, right? And I have not played long enough to discover all of the factions, but they are discoverable. And this is solo, by the way. It is not... It's not multiplayer, so these factions are all NPCs, but these guys, I have not discovered any of these yet. I have not even seen the Space Pirates yet, and we've created our own faction as well. This doesn't mean anything, it's just our channel name is I'm Not a Genius, and so I just thought of some words that fit with that, nothing special. But yeah, the goal of this series is to traverse Earth, just explore Earth, and then find the factions, and then we're going to go to space, and I want to hopefully go to Mars and the alien planet, hopefully, and then that might be the end of the series. But yeah, that is the plan for the series. I wanted to do this because all my survival ships have unfortunately been awesome, but they've been super unrealistic. And so what I plan on doing is making some ships here that are slightly more realistic than the survival ships I was making, because those ships were just, it was like 20 million kilograms in weight, and then, 50,000 heavy iron blocks and stuff. So they were just not feasible for survival mode. So I'm going to do some of that here. So yeah, during this series, I there won't be a lot of full recordings because school's starting back up, and it's going to be a lot harder to get some, peace and quiet to record. And of course, I've got work and stuff to do, so I will have less time to record. So it might be a lot of recapping like I did here, a lot of highlights, and maybe some voiceovers if I'm able to get some footage of the good stuff, and then I'll just voice it over if I, have a loud neighbor or something that keeps me up. But anyways, what we're going to work on right now is building the rover. So I started another survival world about, I don't want to say a week ago. It wasn't a week ago. It was maybe 4 days ago. And I spawned on Triton, which is a different planet. It is full of ice, but no factions or NPCs or anything. So I didn't want to live there. I got up to this point without the drill. I got up to this point. I made a pretty cool rover, and then I made a large grid ship, which, if you don't know, this is large grid, this is small grid. Large grid just takes a lot more materials and weighs more. But other than that, there's not too much of a difference. And so I did that, and wait, let me craft these. There we go. And I made that ship. It was hydrogen powered. I didn't get enough ice because I didn't want to spend the time to make a drill rig. And yeah, the ship lost power before you can escape the atmosphere, and it ended up crashing down, and I died. So I restarted on Earth, and I found this awesome frozen lake where ice is abundant, and I found this awesome flat zone where ores seem to be abundant. I'm not positive yet that they are abundant, but there were quite a few ores so far. So yeah, what we're going to do is we are going to build this rover, and we are going to explore. Now, I built a rover on my old survival world from a couple days ago, and that rover was pretty cool. There were a few downsides to it, of course, namely being the fact that that rover didn't, how do I say this? It didn't hold a lot of cargo, and it didn't look cool. I don't know if that makes any sense to you guys. It didn't look cool at all. So my goal for this is to make it at least look somewhat cool. How do we do this? There we go. So I have not played survival much, as you can tell, but I'm gonna get used to it.
I would like to apologize because apparently my microphone audio did not save on all these clips. So what you're watching right now is a voiceover. And I'm going to try to do this to the best of my abilities. So right now I'm showing you the settings I like to use for my wheels. And the reason I do this is because when I tried to control the rover for the first time, I ended up flipping it. So I don't like to have too much power, and I like to lower the speed limit a lot. Just because, well, I mean, that just helps me control it better. But I believe, if I'm remembering this correctly from when I recorded this, I think that this speed limit setting was too slow. And so I think I had to end up changing that later, but that's not a big deal. Right now what I'm about to do is I'm about to go try to find some more of the ores. And if you remember a little bit earlier in the video, I said that the ores could be found by using, looking at the white spots on the ground. And you could see quite a few of them as you're going by. And they're popping up on my screen too. You can see some of the ores. And that's because while we finished the rover and there's an ore detector on the back, the small grid ore detectors don't have a lot of range, which kind of sucks. So we'll have to, I hope they fix that in the future. But I mean, if I could expand their range a little bit, but it would waste a lot of battery power. So there's that. But yeah, right here, as you can see, I'm changing my settings again because they didn't really work. So I'm trying to make it go a little bit faster than before, and I think I didn't get it right this time either. Let's see. No, it's still too slow for me. I think I end up fixing it. What I like on my settings, I like to get it to 22 miles an hour. That's what I prefer. I think I got it up to 20, maybe 21. I just quit because it was taking a while on camera. I don't think I fixed it yet either. But yeah, that should be enough for me. It's just hard to control any other way. And right here, there's a drop off, so I didn't want to go all the way around, and I just had to fix that. But yeah, let me tell you a little bit about what I want to do with this series while this little voiceover's going. And I think the rest of the video probably will be a voiceover because my freaking audio file didn't save for some reason. But what I want to do with this series I already said I want to find the NPCs and go to different planets and such. I'm recording this audio after I filmed a few episodes already. I've got a few episodes in the bank, and so I can tell you that we have had a hard time finding the NPCs so far. And I went to creative mode, and you'll see this in a future episode. I went to creative mode, I looked around, I made a copy of the world first. I looked around, and I did end up finding 2 NPCs. It took me a while, it took me about 2 hours just to find 2 NPCs. Mainly because the Earth in this game is so big. I think at my peak I was 120 kilometers away from my base, which going 100 meters a second takes forever. I mean, just to go 1 kilometer, it takes, what, 10 seconds, I think, just to go 1 kilometer. That doesn't sound right. Hey, let me think about that. It took a long time. At 1 meter, there's 1,000 meters in a kilometer. You're going 100 meters a second. Yeah, it takes 10 seconds. I don't know. It just felt a lot longer, and it took me 2 hours for some reason. I don't remember why, but it did take me a little while to do it. But yeah, right here I found some magnesium, and magnesium is very important for what we're about to do in the future, and I think I explained it in this clip. What I wanted to do with the magnesium, and what I ended up doing, was making bullets or guns. Now, in my creative ship builds, I didn't use guns a lot, because creative mode, there really aren't that many NPCs to attack you, and it's just making ships for fun. But here, hopefully, there will be NPCs for us to fight, so I need magnesium in order to make bullets and guns. So I ended up getting quite a bit of magnesium, and yeah, that's really all I can say for this clip. Alright, so I think I got all the magnesium, and I'm heading back to my base now. I don't know exactly what I said in this clip, but it was something along the lines of, it's hard to get up this ramp, because I made it. However, I made it 3 blocks wide, and I thought it should be 3 blocks wide. It's very difficult to get up this ramp, but I want to put a connector there eventually, so then you could connect a ship to it, and you can deposit all of your, or it's not a ship, a rover to it, and you can deposit all of the minerals you get on a mining trip into there. And I just gave up, so I grabbed all the magnesium. I was checking for damage. Nothing was damaged. Luckily, I've gotten pretty lucky on that front. And then I deposit all of the magnesium into the refinery here, and I should be producing the magnesium pretty quickly. After we deposited all of the magnesium into the container, we head up these stairs, and we're going to make our drill hole look less phallic, hopefully. I think that's what we do. I better have made it less phallic looking. Yeah, I'm showing you how this works right now. So I set up a button panel, and I added more button panels in a later episode that I made. And basically, the button panel just helps me control the drill without really having to go through a terminal and stuff. But right now I only have 1 panel, so I can't really do all I want to do. So I don't know what I do first. I should do the rotor first. I think that's what I'm doing right now. Yeah, I'm unlocking the rotor. Once it travels a little bit, it's drilling a circle, so that should be enough to make it a little bit less phallic. Oh no, we go a little bit further. There we go. Okay, and then to drill things, you need to start the drill first. There we go. And then we are going to slowly extend the pistons. I like to go at 3 meters a second. I feel like it's not as bad as it could be going like 15 meters a second, just because it's so fast. So I like to go, or maybe it's 0.3. I think it's 0.3 meters a second. It can't be too fast, because once you begin to drill too fast, the drill can't keep up and it won't get all the resources you want. And so it's just better to have it go at a pace it can keep up with. So once the first piston is fully extended, we can begin work on the second piston. And these extend 10 meters each. And I don't know how long the drill itself is, but we can get 20 meters plus the length of the drill in terms of depth. And I think I'm going with the second one right now, and it is, yeah, it's 0.3 meters a second. So we're going to go check out this hole now. It looks a lot less phallic than it did before, so that's a good news. That's some good news right there. And we're not getting a ton of iron from this drill spot, I don't think. You could see it kind of down there. It's the reddish rock, not the gray rock. The gray rock is nickel. The reddish rock is iron. And it's a lot easier to tell what ore is which in the desert rather than in the regular land because, well, it's gray rocks on top of gray nickel, so it's kind of hard to tell that apart, and gray silicon on top of gray rocks, so it's kind of hard to tell that apart. Iron's pretty easy to tell apart, but in the sand it's just all so much more visible. And I think here I'm going to show you guys how much we made from that single mining trip. And yeah, we made a lot, as you can tell. I think I was wrong about the iron. I can't really read it right now. It's kind of small. I think it says 30,000 iron. I think in a future video I'll show you guys, I think we get up to 100,000 iron, so that's pretty awesome. But yeah, my drill rig works pretty well. And to turn it off, it's pretty simple. You can just press these buttons and it'll start retracting back into itself, so that's pretty cool. Yeah. I don't think there's anything else left in this video that I care too much about. I want to apologize. I mean, it's not my fault that the audio was corrupted, but it is my fault for not watching it beforehand to make sure that everything was fine. I'm probably not going to do that in the future anyways, even though I messed up on this one, just because I feel like recording things twice makes me less enthusiastic, and I'm already not a super enthusiastic sounding guy, which is part of my fault, part of my personality, but I'm not really too worried about it. But in the next video, I want to make a ship, I want to travel the world, and I did end up doing that, but the ship, needless to say, because there's a second episode where I apologize for this as well, we didn't find anything on that first venture or go around. So yeah, I'll see you guys next episode. We will build a ship, and yeah, I'll see you then. Thanks for watching. Peace.